Hey guys, today we're going to do the history of the FLC 120 Freightliner, a truly iconic truck. That's not it behind me. That is my Peterbilt 379, but I put it out on Facebook that I was looking, to have you guys vote and tell me what you wanted. And I had 4 votes. It was the first time I ever did it, so I only have 4 votes. It was 4 different trucks. So I asked my wife to do the tiebreaker, and she chose the FLC 120 because our friend and longtime subscriber, Kurt Fenslaw, put it on there. He actually owns one, and he said someday he's going to redo it as a tribute truck to his dad, and he had a heartfelt, commentary about just how much that truck meant to him. So anyway, I'm here in Bloomington, Indiana. Place where there's no truck stops, and I am actually at a truck parking club spot. And I know a lot of you guys say, hey, I'm not paying for my parking. Well, here in Bloomington, there's nothing. I delivered here this morning, and I didn't have a load yet. I wasn't sure which direction to go. I got Evansville south of me. I got Indianapolis north of me. Cincinnati's not too far from here. I wasn't sure which way to go. No truck parking, but there was a truck parking spot. Truck parking club spot over here. And I know a lot of you guys don't want to pay, so guess what? I didn't pay a dime because it's $15 for the parking here, and I have a code, resources20, that gets you $20 off. So I didn't pay for it, and the truck's parked here. There's like absolutely nothing going on here. There's a quiet little spot. There's nobody around me. There's signs over there which you can't really see because it's dark out, even though they're bright yellow, for the truck parking club. Also, if I can do one more quick sponsorship, it's going to be for 4 states. I have a code for 4 states for you guys. Trucking R10 will get you 10% off of anything that's not already on sale on in their store, website, app, anything. And reason I'm doing that is, see them blue lights? Every light on this truck is street legal. All street legal. Those blue ones are legendary lights. No, I cannot drive down the road with it as it is and expect to not get pulled over. But with the flip of a switch, I'm totally legal. And I know some of you say, oh, there's red facing out the front. That's not legal. Nope, red is facing back. Those are legendary lights on here. Legendary, real glass lights. That's a bracket for in my air cleaner. I have a 15-inch Donaldson, but they have it for other trucks. Anyway, guys, I don't want to go on and on. But the brackets, the bumper, the lights are legendary. Everything comes from a different manufacturer, and you don't have to search for it because you can go on to 4statetrucks.com and use code TruckingR10. Now, let's get to the actual story of the beautiful, iconic Freightliner FLC 120. All right, guys, so now I'm back in the truck where it's a little bit warmer. At the truck run, it's really cold here in Bloomington. It's December 8th. And anyway, I said before about Kurt Fenslaw, longtime subscriber, and we talk back and forth online a lot, but he sent me the picture of his Freightliner, which I didn't know he owned, and here I'll put it here, and that's pretty cool. He said it had a big history to him. He wants to build it as a tribute truck for his dad, but he thinks that it played a big part in what made him a truck driver today. And I have kind of a similar story. Now, my dad had a few trucks. If I had to actually say my favorite truck, or the one that I don't know. He drove a lot of different trucks over the years. Probably the Peterbilt 362 that he had for American Transport Incorporated back in the day. 362. And but so that meant a lot to me, and I said to my wife, I said, go ahead and do a tiebreaker here, and she liked that he had the pictures, liked the story, and did it. But if you guys want to vote, go over to Trucking Resources on Facebook. You will see a link for this video, and under that you can comment what truck you'd like to see, and I'll run it up till this Friday, which is 8, 9, 10, 11, The 12th. I'll run it up till the 12th, Friday the 12th of December 2025 at midnight. And any model, it doesn't matter, make, but you got to have make, model, and it has to be a Class 8 truck. And, you know, that's what Kurt did. That's awesome. I love it. And like I say, it's a big truck of mine, you know, from the past too. The FLC came out in 1977, and it replaced the white Freightliner WFC 120. But anyway, Freightliner wasn't real big into commercial trucks at the time. Or I'm sorry, they weren't real big into conventional trucks. They were real big into commercial trucks. Remember, at the time Freightliner was owned was owned by CF. Freightliner was started by CF, so they really wanted to pack as much stuff into there. They worked real hard to make the shortest trucks. Later on, conventionals were becoming more popular, so they came out with the FLC 120. It was considered long hood, and the design focus was specifically for long haul operations, and they were prioritizing durability and efficiency. The construction was an aluminum cab, and that helped reduce weight and maximize payload. That was, you know, the go-to in the industry at the time if weight was a thing. They say that it says here that the FLC quickly earned a reputation as a reliable workhorse, thanks to its straightforward design and ease of maintenance. So the engine's available in the FLC. So for those of you who are new to the industry or didn't grow up in the industry, you know, like I did and like my friend Kurt did, you might not realize, like now you have like the Packard engine, which you can get an optional Cummins, or the Volvo engine, which you can get, I think you can still get an optional Cummins with it. Things like that. Back in the day, there was pretty much, although there were exceptions, Mack is a big exception, different companies did make their own engines, but like Freightliner didn't make an engine. Freightliner years later bought Detroit. Freightliner still doesn't make an engine, but they got involved with Detroit. Back then, it was you bought the truck with the engine you wanted, and of course, in that time, it would have been Cummins, Detroit, or Caterpillar would have been your choices. Seems like a good time. I mean, I actually drove a, I actually drove two. One of the first companies I worked for, my dad actually worked for the same company. In fact, he got a new truck and I took his old one. It was actually a 1999 Volvo that had a Caterpillar 3406 engine in it. And yeah, things were just way different back then. I think Volvo was making an engine. I don't know. There were some design updates over the years, and I didn't realize this. I guess I should have. I thought they were different model numbers, and I didn't realize it. But the model received updates over its life, notably in 1984, when the long hood FLC's 120's headlights were molded into the front fenders instead of hanging off the grille's edge. This gave it a more modern and slightly more aerodynamic appearance. Guys, if I had to choose my favorite, whether I like it molded or like it on the fender or like it, you know, hanging off the grill, no chance. I can't do it. You guys let me know in the comments down below which one you prefer, if any, because I think they are both iconic designs, and you know, both kind of look like different trucks, but not really. So here was something interesting I learned. I said in 1984 they changed, you know, where the headlights were. But I found out in 1983 was the first year that they offered a 60-inch cab. So if you have a 1983 FLC 120 with the headlights on the grill and a 60-inch cab and it's all factory, that's actually probably pretty rare, because it only happened for 1 year. And I will get the sleepers here in a minute. I'm also going to say here, you know, I cover Class 8 trucks, but, you know, tractor trailers, they did come out with the FLC 112 in 1985, and that was mainly a, you know, business class, you know, smaller truck. But during the time, I wanted to find out what kind of sleepers they had, because I had a lot on them. So I started looking into it, and generally it says it was flat top configurations. Of course, 1983, the 60-inch sleeper came out. And before that, pretty standard was 36-inch sleeper or 48-inch sleeper, all flat top. But I knew I had seen some bigger ones. And it does say here, while most, and I'm reading this word for word, while the most iconic FLC models had flat tops, modern day conversions or much later production export models or units that shared parts with later generations have occasionally been listed with raised roof sleepers, though these were not standard common factory options for the FLC. So, you know, maybe guys were buying the day cabs and getting, you know, getting double eagle sleepers. That was pretty common in the time. If you wanted anything big, in fact, it's not an FLC, but it's a pretty cool story of legging this truck history. I'm going to put a story up here that I did a long time ago. Don't judge my video ability. I like to think I get a little bit better every time. I did a long time ago, but it was my friend. I met him. I consider him a friend now. Lou Antill's 1985, I believe it was. Peterbilt 359 that he bought brand new and then put a 90-inch double eagle sleeper on it. So pretty cool. Different truck, but that's what a lot of guys were doing back then. But the FLC came to an end in, let me get to the right place here. It was replaced by the more aerodynamic FLD series. And that says it was introduced in '87, but the FLC models ceased in the late 80s to early 90s. You know how trucking companies do that. You could still, basically, like Peterbilt just went to the 589 or 589, but you could still go get a 389 at the end. So they kind of run out the parts and everything. Was an end of a pretty cool era, but that did bring in the FLDs, one of the coolest trucks ever. I actually did the history of FLD, and I will put it up here. And I did the FLD, but didn't really. We all take a Freightliner Classics. That's an FLD also. And, well, it's all up to you guys what you vote. You know, I've done 2 Freightliner stories now, but yeah, ceased operations, but the Classic lived on. The FLD 120 was a whole new truck, but FLC 120 is just such an iconic truck. And I agree with you, Kurt, it played a big part in my childhood too. All right, guys, so there you have the history of the Freightliner FLC 120. Pretty awesome truck, and, you know, was voted on by Kurt Fenslaw, who owns one. And thank you, Kurt. I appreciate your friendship and constantly, you know, posting and always commenting. It's what keeps us going. It's what gets me going. I want you to comment below what you think of this, stories you have from the past. Don't vote on the next truck, because these votes don't count. It has to be on Facebook, on the Trucking Resources page on Facebook, and you will see a link for this. Just for this video, just comment in that, and you'll be in for the vote. This Friday I'm going to end it, and that'll go for the next one. If you lose, don't worry about it. You can do it again. I'm going to do this every Tuesday, and it has to be a specific truck and model. Class 8. So anyway, guys, I appreciate it so much for you watching. If you missed the codes for Truck Parking Club and 4-State Trucks, they are down in the description. And I can be found on Facebook, Instagram, Substack, and TikTok. I do a little bit of different stuff on all of them. Got lots of great videos coming up. This was Truck History Tuesday. We were talking about trucks. Trucking History Sunday is when we talk about trucking companies, the history of them. Some companies still exist, some aren't around anymore. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you on the next one.